Dan, you guys had an amazing season. Won first division title since 2001, beat Detroit in the division series. I know this is disappointing, obviously. What did you tell your team?
Just how hard they fought. I think all season long these guys just fought so hard. We, had setbacks, and you go through ups and downs, and these guys were always there, bouncing back, working hard, getting through it, and it's just an incredible group. It's a special group that's been in there, and what they've done with each other, and how hard they've worked and how far they've gotten. It's a tough one to swallow.
How difficult was Toronto as an opponent?
Yeah, it was a good series, a great series, back and forth. Two good teams. Congratulations to the Blue Jays on advancing, and just an incredible series. It was back and forth. And we saw a lot of momentum shifts, a lot of momentum changes, it just it ended up Toronto's way, but a heck of a job on our guys' part and on how hard they fought.
Seventh inning. How much thought did you give to bringing Munoz in to stop it rather than Bizzardo to face Springer?
Well, we had a lot of options down there, and Bizzardo's been so good in that pivot role, and he continued to throw the ball well all series long, it just didn't go our way tonight. But our guys have done it all season long.
Dan, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's easy to question that. It's a good question by Ken about Bizzardo, but he's been so good this postseason. Teams with 0 championship appearances, the Mariners are the only one in baseball. So tough for the fans. And by the way, give Dan a lot of credit. Those interviews are hard to do, and he was a stand-up guy with Ken there. Let's hear a little bit more from the M's in their clubhouse after the game.
But what ultimately do you feel like the legacy of this team is going to be, having gone as further than any other team in franchise history?
Legacy is no one's really satisfied or happy with this, I think.
Obviously, it hurts. We have put so much work and effort throughout this whole year, and, it's over. But that's also part of the game, too.
I hate to use the word failure, but it's a failure. That's what we expected, was to get to a World Series and win a World Series, and that's, what the bar is and the standard is, and it's what we want to hold ourselves accountable to. But, it hurts.
It's heartbreaking. That was a Mariners player, we're told in the background, just screaming in anger. I don't know who, but when they, you work so hard, you get to within, 2 innings of going to your first ever World Series, and it's just impossible to surmise and talk about on a night like this. But I know one thing, the job that Dan Wilson, your former teammate, did getting them here.
Yeah, KB, I love Dan Wilson so much, and when I watch him, look, we've all been there, fellas. It sucks being on the other side of not winning, and Dan is a guy that I played with for 7 years, who every day we'll go to the batting cage together at 2 o'clock. He was such a great mentor to me. He's a man of faith. He's got a great family. He's a great father, and it pains me because I know how much he cares, and I've been there, and he's such a good guy, but I think they'll be back, and he's a great leader, and you can just tell what a class act he is by watching him in that interview with Kenny.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for the players. You can see the pain in their eyes, Cal Raleigh especially. Those interviews are tough. They really are. But the Seattle Mariners, they have nothing to hang their head about. They had an unbelievable season, a great season, successful season. You feel bad for them. You feel bad for the fan base, right? Because they were so close. They were so close. But this team will be back. You have Cal's going to be there for a while. Julio's going to be there for a while. They got a taste of it, and they're going to be hungry. We talked to Vlad, and Vlad was talking about how, they're in last place. They show up. They start working out early. Same thing's going to happen with the Seattle Mariners. Now they have confidence. They know how good they can be, and they're going to want another crack at the World Series.
Tough love, guys. Tough loss. And like you say, Cap, they got the taste of what it means to almost go to the World Series. They had a young team. This guy put it together throughout the whole season, battling in a division where they have one of the most fearless teams, which is Houston. They beat them, they came out on top, and they show the whole planet that they are capable of playing baseball the right way. Now, they got the little taste now, that carry over for the next season. You learn this year what you miss out to be able to complete the mission. A lot of pain in their faces, a lot of, Wilson, the manager, you can ask for no more than what he did. But this is a great organization who's going to have the opportunity next year to do it again. You
can also, once they get a couple weeks to relax and unwind and they can zoom out, I think they're going to be able to take a lot from this lesson. It's a missed opportunity if you don't learn from this. And one of the things they may do, fellas, is look at this Blue Jays team and borrow some of those philosophies and surround Cal and J-Rod with a little bit more complementary contact, speed, and have a different attack. Because at the end of the day, it's really hard to have 50% of your runs be home runs, and in the postseason it was 80%. That's just hard and very hard to sustain.
In these Game 7s, when you have these pitching plans and you lay it out, which is done now, right? They all think, okay, I'm going to get 2 innings from this guy, 2 innings from this guy, an inning from this guy. But it doesn't always work to plan. What did you think of the Mariners' plan and how it was laid out? Kirby actually, rough first inning, but he was really good after that. Just give me your feel with that. And then Kenny asked Dan Wilson about Bizzardo. That was a spot to bring in your closer. But I get it. Bizzardo's been great this postseason. Just take me through what your thought about how they handled the pitching plan tonight. Yeah, look, it's easy to sit here and double, question Dan Wilson. But we were watching in real time in the green room together. And I'm just a big believer is you got to get the starter as long as possible. And when you look at 27 outs, I always start from the top down. So I got 2 with Munoz. I maybe have 2 with Wu, and then I got to figure out how do I get these kind of middle innings. So Kirby, I would have loved to have seen him be forced out of the game or at least go batter to batter. The 8th batter, the 9th hitter, and Springer. Maybe have the bullpen ready, but don't quite go so quickly to Wu proactively. Maybe wait, because at the end of the day, the Mariners, it came down to this. They had their 3rd best bullpen guy in the most important part of their season, perhaps the most important part of their franchise history.
Yeah, I know. That's what everyone does, right? We all sit and second guess. Of course. If I was the manager, I would do this. If I was the manager, I would do that. No one knows their team better than Dan Wilson. So there's so many things that go on behind the scenes. You don't know who's tired, who's not tired, who's available, who's not available. Because what the managers do is they protect their players. Look, it's one George Springer swing from us sitting here talking about the Seattle Mariners being in their first World Series. True. So, yeah, it's we can sit here and go through it, but we talked about it. You love starters to go as long as they possibly can. But, hey, they have a lot to be proud of, and I'm pretty sure they'll be back. Absolutely. And like you say, Cap, one pitch changed the whole game. I think they were doing phenomenal until that one situation shows up. Facing one of the most fearless guys, especially in the playoff, which is George Springer. It was like the perfect guy at the perfect moment. Yep. You can ask for no more than that. Other than that, everything was going perfect for them pitching-wise. Well, we've said it's not the home run, right? If you don't have the leadoff walk and you don't have the base hit, maybe a solo home run doesn't beat you, right? But again, we can't sit here. I think we're talking more macro kind of philosophy. We're not, banging up Dan Wilson or the Mariners. You see this over and over again, year in and year out, these mistakes happening, or these are judgment calls. That's what you get with a Game 7, right? You get heartbreak, but you also get one of the greatest moments in baseball history, really, right? A Game 7 of an ALCS, and George Springer's home run sends the Blue Jays to the World Series. About as good as it gets. If you're a Blue Jays fan, if you're a baseball fan, if you're a baseball historian, that was something else tonight.